Okay. Oh, it went live already. That was
We
quick.
are
Hi! Yay! I'm so glad we got it to work. And it
sweet.
says it's working on Facebook and stuff too, so I have no idea, but it says it is.
All
So it
right.
should be on all the channels. I don't know how I figured it out, but I did. I
Well,
think.
practice, practice.
Yeah. No, I failed every time, Alva. Every time.
Hey, what? You know what? We're not good at this stuff. We're good. We spend our time on the water.
Yes, I'm a fisherman, not a
Right.
YouTuber. Just still
Right.
work.
Right.
But I am excited to have you up, and we are trying to get Ashley. I have not seen her yet, so I don't know if she's having trouble with the link or
Okay.
whatnot. But we are going to discuss boots on the water, even if we can't get her up here because it's a very important event too. And you're
Okay.
also going to that event, so
Hmm.
you
Boat
understand.
is
That's
boat
right.
is I worked on the boat because it was a rain day today, so I worked on it all day and just it's ready to go. I mean, it's never ready as far as completed ready, but
No, we've been
um,
doing ours for 16 years, and every year something new. Every
yeah.
single year.
Well, I
So
just,
it is.
I rebuilt my other one last. My son and I rebuilt the other one last winter, and halfway through the season, I'm like, it's both too small. So
It's there's always something.
yeah, which
Our
is
next
fine.
one,
That's fine. Just
it is. Our
um,
next is what do they call those? Oh shoot, they go on the back of the boat, so you can anchor down and what the heck are they called?
oh, you're talking about challenge.
Yes, talons.
Yeah,
That's our next purchase for the boat. So I'm
that's.
excited about that.
I mean, I think I don't know much about them, but I thought that was only for like 20 foot of water or less, maybe 15,
It is.
kind of more
Oh,
shallow.
he said audio is crappy. So I'm not sure. My husband just sent me a message saying audio was crappy. I don't know what it sounds like. What does it sound like?
Sounds fine to me.
It sounds fine to me on my end too. I'm not hearing crackling or anything this time, so I'm actually
No,
not sure
I
what
wonder
it.
if it's whoever's got whatever channel they're on or whatever feed they're getting it from. Maybe close it and reopen it. I don't know.
Oh, it says you're quiet, so I can turn. I can fix that. Is that better? We shall find out. I asked
Yeah.
chat if that was better.
Okay.
We'll make sure because I want to make sure everybody hears about these
Sounds
events,
good.
and then of course the
My
conservation.
well, my wife's listening in the other room, and she said it sounds fine on her end.
Okay, it must be his then. Well, it did say yours was quiet, which could have been because it was down a little bit. So I hope
Oh,
that fixed it.
right, right.
Um, we shall see. But Alva, first, I'm going to show what you were doing because we'll talk about yours while we're still trying to get Ashley, figure out where Ashley is at. Because I saw these, so I went ahead and brought these up here so that you could talk about them because you're doing a whole new tournament type series.
Right.
And I had the pleasure of going to one of your bank tournaments, which congratulate out. What was it,
Yeah.
53 people?
48. 48.
48. Oh, I ended up being 40. Okay. And so that was amazing because that was massive and so many people participated. And it was a
Yeah.
bank only tournament. So that was super cool because that's not a normal type tournament.
No.
It is on my home waters, so to that.
Right.
But but I'm all about supporting it. So tell us about
Right.
these tournaments that you've got going on here. Um,
Well, um, obviously, I just got back into the catfishing scene last year. Kind of took a 30-year hiatus, raising kids and all that kind of stuff. So when I luckily found Hoover, I was completely shocked and blessed, and immediately started catching fish. Kind of was you guys were one of the first ones that kind of welcomed me with open arms as far as helping me try to figure out the lake and patterns and just the whole process of fishing. A lot of things have changed over the course of 30 plus years.
oh, it has.
So I kind of got, pretty active on the Facebook tank, posting pictures, I guess building, you know, I guess letting people know that I was out there. But I started noticing that people were asking me a lot of questions, and it was because I was putting myself out there. And I did notice that, bank fishing seemed to be kind of left to the wayside. It was always about the boat guys and the kayak guys. And obviously, there's a little bit of an advantage for those guys because we have access. But, bank guy, we all started bank fishing, I would say, most of us. And I wanted to be able to put myself in a position to be able to help in any way I could because the joy that I felt that I hadn't felt in 30 plus years, I honestly, I was addicted to fishing. Grew up around fishing, and I'm going to get into that background here in a little bit. But um, I wanted to bring that to everybody. And Joe Hatfield and I and James Risher, they had told me that bank tournaments had been tried, but not really wholehearted. Like they didn't go full force in it, never really pursued it. I'm eager, I'm passionate. I'm like, let's go, let me try this. And that's really, the key is getting building a community because I feel like the boat guys have a pretty strong community. There's a good 20 or so guys that fish there, and we all kind of in passing talk, trade little tactics, secrets, tips, whatever. And the
Yep.
bank guys, I felt like they were just kind of left out. They had to eavesdrop in our Facebook conversations, basically.
Right.
And so, really, that was kind of the thing. So, the that was more of a trial thing. I had never done any kind of tournament as far as organization or whatever.
You did
Just
amazing.
mistakes. I'm sorry.
I said you did amazing.
Thank you. Um, it's evolving. I'm excited that we had as many people. I think my original goal was 30, and so I exceeded that. And everybody had originally said 30 is probably not possible. We don't even get that kind of turnout in a lot of the river tournaments and bigger tournaments. So I was pretty happy with the response, and I want to build a community for not just bad guys, but for the whole catfishing community, to where we all feel like we're part of the greater good of conservation, of awareness of our future for our kids, our grandkids, to be able to feel that how great it feels to reel in that big trophy fish.
Heck yeah.
Um, and unfortunately, you know, during my hiatus of 30 plus years, those opportunities have really gone by the wayside nationally, unfortunately. So I guess that's kind of my big thing is it's just trying to bring another level to the community. The tournaments aren't meant for money. Um, the money is just kind of a fun thing. The competition is a fun thing, but ultimately it's camaraderie, and again, community. That's where I want to get it to.
Yes. Uh, Now, I went to yours, and you mentioned that you're on a 30-year hiatus. Now, I know why, because I've had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to you. But the biggest thing I learned was what you did when you were fishing. And speaking of conservation, because it's just as important um, to you as it is to me, uh, tell everyone what you did prior to worrying about
So
college.
I dug, well, actually, my parents dug a little news clip. I was in the newspaper back in the early 90s. And I don't know if you can see this.
Here, let me
Um,
make you big. If I know how to make you big. Oh, nope, that was the wrong way. Oh my goodness. Why does it keep making me big? No, I don't want to be big. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm making it worse. Okay, well, apparently I.
so this is me in my fish truck. This was in 1992. So growing up, I lived about 2 miles from a pay lake called Cedar Lake, um, the oldest pay lake in Ohio. The oldest in Ohio. Um, about 13 years old, I started going up there, doing tours and things like that to earn fishing tickets so I could go fishing. Well, in the process, over years and years after school, summer break or whatever, I started. They actually own a fish farm, a fish company that at the time was probably the largest in the Midwest, one of the largest in the Midwest. Cedar Lake was known for, in all pay lakes back then. So we're talking mid 80s. I was 15, 16, 17 years old. You can do the math on when I was born. um, but back originally, pay lakes were all about family and channel catfishing, a lot of carp fishermen. And it was all about going there, having a family day, catching some eaters. They would have big fish jackpots, and it would be literally $50. It would cost you $1 to get in the pot, and in addition to your 12-hour ticket, and you won $50. It was not about money. A 30 pounder, a 20 pounder was a weekly kind of, that was the big fish of the week. As time progressed, there was a lake just outside of Hilliard or Hillsboro, which is southeastern ish of Columbus. Um, the guy that owned that he was a commercial fisherman, but he mainly commercial fished for his own personal pay lake. He owned a pay lake, and he started these hourly tournaments where I forget the entry fee, but it was they would give away $100 an hour for the biggest fish. Well, that caught on. Money has a crazy way of getting people involved.
Yes, yes, it does.
So that kind of started the whole, at least in Central Ohio. So back to the fish hunting part. I eventually started riding with the fish trucks to go to, like, we would get our farm raised fish, catfish from Arkansas. We would get our farm raised trout from Asheville, North Carolina. We would occasionally go up to Saginaw Bay to get big channels. But primarily their focus back then was farm raised fish. We would, and now that I know what I know, we would be able to get big fish. primarily back then it was flatheads, and they all come from Kentucky Lake. Kentucky Lake, the commercial fishermen down there, their focus was on fish to process. So the processing plants really only wanted eater sized fish. They had no use. There was no market for them in the fresh fish community or fresh fish market for bigger fish. So commercial fishermen really basically would throw the majority of the big fish back, which was awesome. In hindsight, it would have been awesome if it would have stayed that way. Well, as the pay lakes started progressing and the demand of wanting bigger fish for these tournaments to get bigger draws, to get more customers, these processors started telling these commercial fishermen, primarily small guys, hey, we've got an outlet for your big fish now. So bring us all your big fish. Well, so then we started being able to get some blue cat. Flatheads, for whatever reason, were still the majority of what we wanted to focus on. The owner of the fish farm, ironically, the family's last name is Jones. The owner knew, he was smart enough to know that blue cat wouldn't survive in our waters in Ohio.
Right.
So even back then, he really didn't want anything to do with blue cats. He knew that flatheads would survive in most of our pay lakes or whatever, but it was supposed to be meant for just a bonus. At the time when I was working there from early to mid 80s till about the mid 90s, um, in the early 90s, a really good stocked pay lake, and we back then we stocked probably 70 to 80 pay lakes in Ohio, northern Kentucky, some Indiana. But a good stocked pay lake maximum would get maybe 1,500 pounds of big fish a year. That was max. And that was out of the, let's just say, 70 pay lakes. Only the top 5 or 6 would even stock remotely close to the 1,500 pound. And that was a year. So the demand started happening, and we were only getting our fish, our big fish, in a very small window, typically during the spawn time, because commercial fishermen could focus on them knowing where they were going to be.
Right.
Primarily, those fish were caught trot lines. Well, late 80s, early 90s, and I know that's a lot of information, but I have a lot. So
It's okay.
I'm trying to fill, a 20-year span in a 20-minute podcast or whatever.
No, we
In the
get it.
late 80s, early 90s, a local guy by the name of James Reed out of Reedsville is actually where he's from, hence the last name Reed, had contacted the owner and said, hey, me and my father owned, we're commercial fishermen, we fish the Ohio River. And back then it was still legal. I think it became illegal in the late 80s, if I remember right. He said, and he hounded the owner for a couple years, buddy. He's like, I can supply you with every big fish that you want. So we started to occasionally do a little bit of business with him, and he would get 1,000 pounds. Our truck would hold that this particular truck here would hold roughly 2,500 to 3,000 pound max of big fish. Big fish meaning 10-pound plus. I can fill your truck up. So we started dabbling, buying from him. He was primarily fishing, closer to Parkersburg. Um, and he would we would meet him. It was funny because his property was right off a little creek feeder, a feeder creek. I'm sorry. And he would, bring his boat in, unload the fish into these big boxes that were in the creek. As he caught them, he would accumulate them, and then he would call and say, "Hey, I've got about 1,000 pounds left." And it would take him several weeks to get to that point. But they were nice, all flatheads, never a blue cat, um, because they really weren't popular this far north back then.
No, no, they weren't.
So, and that was really what we wanted because, again, we knew that blue cat wasn't going to survive. And the whole idea of big fish was always catch and release. It was just a prize fish. It was a trophy fish. It was meant to draw in customers.
Right.
Um, so a few years go by. I mean, I've literally been on James Reed's boats and pulled nets in the late 80s, early 90s. He was catching all his hoop nets. I've been on his boat. I've been on his boat and pulled nets with him. I would meet him in the early 90s. This is way before he even had a Bay Lake. Way before he even thought about having a Bay Lake. He was commercial fishing. I don't know where he was selling them, but he wasn't selling a lot. It was ma and pa type small Bay Lakes out towards the West Virginia area. But anyway, he he opened this Bay Lake, right? And you can't quote me on the year, but all of a sudden, legally he wasn't allowed. Basically, he had fished out the Ohio River. So he started questioning companies like us. Hey, where can I go to? Because he's selling fish. His livelihood is now selling to the fish farm or the fish haulers. And now he's bought this pay lake that he wants to make the biggest pay lake ever, which
Yay!
is kind of what he did.
Yeah.
So, as far as big fish, now this guy, and his original lake, I'm going to say 10-acre lake, right? He's stocking thousands. This is early 90s, thousands of pounds a week. A week.
Yeah.
Obviously, at that point, he's still fishing the Ohio River in our area, in our Ohio part of Ohio River. Thousands of pounds a week, on top of selling us at that point 3, 4, 5,000 pounds a week in a very short window, 6 weeks of the year. But if you start doing the math, and that little bit, let's say 100-mile stretch of the river, and I'm not going to do the math, but you can fathom
Yes.
tens of thousands of pounds of fish in
Yes.
100-mile stretch. These fish, and he's bringing in 40, 50, 60, 70-pound fish on a regular. I mean, we almost completely stopped buying big fish from Kentucky Lake outside of blue cat. And the reason we were buying blue cat is because now people wanted more, bigger, and another variety, and blue cat bite a lot more often.
Yeah.
Um, so he started, if I remember correctly, he left the Ohio River when basically it wasn't because of the legal part of it, it was because he fished it out. He flat fished it out. He couldn't make any money. He couldn't stock his own lake, much less sell them to anybody. So he started going to Maryland. I don't know the details of the Maryland thing, but eventually he about the time that time he was transitioning into more southern states. I think he probably tried like Kentucky Lake. Obviously, he was a river guy, so he wanted to get into the Mississippi, the Tennessee, all those places because he knew how to hoop net. He didn't know how to trot line necessarily. So that's what he's done. Well, over the course of 30 years, I had no effing clue that all this happened. No idea that the river had been so decimated. Um, because I'm young, I'm late teens, early 20s. I'm a fishaholic. Like I worked at the lake. I was, I ended up driving a fish truck. That's how I got my CDL. I drove a fish truck for about 6 years, um, delivering fish, going to all these different, Canada for panfish, all these different states to get specific fish, Minnesota for tilapia. Um, so I thought it was important that there's a lot of bullshit, and pardon me for being
It's okay.
a little abrasive on my words, but the thing with this James Reed and the people that think they know, they have no effing clue what this guy did prior to the Pay Lake thing. They only know him based on the Pay Lake. Nobody knew James Reed prior to Paradise Extreme or whatever the hell he calls it now. Um, the guy was just a old country boy that he was a kid. I mean, shit, he's probably maybe a couple years older than me, I would guess. He was a kid, just earning a living back then. I don't
Yeah.
think he had the intent, but again, money does crazy things. And if anybody has ever watched any of his stuff about how he feels about fish and how he doesn't give a shit about the health, he thinks it's like he just doesn't comprehend the impact that he's having, and it's pretty bad that he's known nationally.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in the catfish and outside of the catfish community know who this guy is. They know him, and what they don't know is the history behind the Pay Lake shit. So I just wanted to make some of that clear. Um, do I have physical proof of videos and shit like that? No, we had Polaroid cameras back then. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have technology. So, but I can tell you from firsthand experience, I was there. I would meet him on the side of the road, somewhere on Route 7, in the middle of the night after he's pulled, sometimes at a truck stop or, whatever, um, because he'd just come off the river. And, he had a huge live well in his boat. And we would take him right off his boat and put him right into my truck. And then that morning I was taking him to whatever Bay Lake, the next day. So sorry, that was long winded, but it's a
It's
lot of
okay.
information.
Pay Lakes are, I mean, it's no secret how I feel about, let me rephrase that. I have no issues with Pay Lakes whatsoever. None whatsoever. But we all know how I feel about Trophy Pay Lakes.
Right.
I'm pretty much on a mission to burn them to the ground at all costs.
Yeah, and there's definitely a purpose. There is a good thing about Bay Lakes.
Yeah.
And it's the back to the basics of the family thing, the eater thing, the convenience. People
Yep.
that don't have the opportunity for boats, don't have great water fisheries, things like that around them. People that only have a few hours to, take their kid to go fishing and they want to actually catch a fish. You know what I
Well,
mean?
with disabilities,
There's
I
lots
mean,
of things.
oh yeah.
But when it got to now they're having these $10,000 an hour tournaments and just
Oh yeah. The price of the
anybody with
steak.
common sense would know that, you can preach catch and release all you want, and you can preach, you've got, all you feed them and all that stuff. You don't put thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds a week into a lake and think that they're going to survive.
No,
And his
they're not.
attitude is I'll just go catch more. Because he
Yes.
just thinks it's just, let's go to the gas station, open the nozzle, and let's run the tanks dry. Because somebody will bring some more eventually. And that's just a stupid thought process. It's
Well,
just
everybody knows anyway. I mean, the amount of space that just one catfish needs,
right.
and you're placing that many in what's essentially a pond, not a
Right.
lake. I mean, it's just a given they're not going to survive. So,
Well, yeah. So, I don't know if anybody's like ever seen like an actual catfish farm or any type of fish farm, but these these fish farms are farms. They're serious, and the majority of they call them ponds. They're 15 to 20 acres, and they raise, I'd say, per 15 or 20 acres, they're raising about 30,000 pounds of channel cat up to the 2 inch or 2 pound size. So if you take that into, and these are like raised to eat,
yeah,
right? They
yes,
are raised. They're a no different than a cow or a chicken or whatever else.
yep,
That's all they do. And so if you think about the actual amount of fish that they're doing in a very controlled space versus taking a much smaller pay lake and trying to shove 15, 20,000 pounds a year of huge fish
yep,
that need space. Um, it is just there's no common sense to that other than you're out for the dollar,
yes.
and shame on you.
And you know,
Shame
it's
on you.
personal to me because now they've hit Hoover and they're taking from Hoover. So now it's
Yeah,
very, very personal. Very, very
yeah.
personal to me.
Well, fortunately, and this is part of what we're going to be doing and this is part of the purpose of this is the awareness. What do we look for? What do we on the bank or on our boats? What's going to be the flag that tells us that doesn't look like just a normal guy fishing? Because some guys they just don't have a clue. I mean, no offense, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Yep.
And the more we talk about it, the more that's where the community comes in, and we get to self police because you want to be able to catch that trophy catfish.
Yes.
We're lucky that we have the fishery that we do because the Ohio River used to be that when I was growing up, and I grew up and fished a lot of the Ohio River. A 30-pound flathead was a normal. Now you fish a tournament and a 30 pounder out of 50, 60 boats is not normal.
No.
That's kind of like that could win big fish. That's just it blows my mind.
Since I've started covering tournaments and going to tournaments, a lot of them, one of the most universal things that everyone has said is the quality of fish has changed immensely.
Right.
Now, if someone catches that 30, even in a blue, they're like, well, that could win. Where, you know, several years ago, that wouldn't even have come close to.
Right.
And
Right.
part of the problem, too, is, and this is a big thing, if we can get anglers to understand, it's not that you can't post your fish, conceal your location. You could brag about your big fish without having to say, this came out of Hoover, this came out of the James, this came out of this town, this came out. If you want to tell people, have them message you. But if we can see where you got it, because every angler on the planet, you caught a 100-pound fish, we're zooming in for landmarks to figure out where you just fished so we can come fish it. We know how it
Right.
works. It's what we do. But if we're doing that, rest assured, Trophy Pay Lakes are doing that. That is how
Yeah.
they're knowing where to fish and they're finding their fish. The internet has actually, albeit it's great because it gets everybody together, it does this and that, but it's hurt the fish because we're allowing them to see where we're getting them.
Yeah, I would agree with you with obviously that, but unfortunately, I whatever the solution is, because I'm guilty of posting, um, and some of it's ego, but some of it's trying to draw, you
Yes.
know, people away from Bay Lakes,
I used
that are
to,
out
I
there.
used to post. I did, and I am very guilty of it. But I can honestly say that people have not seen me post in the Hoover group, or they don't see me post fish anymore. Now they saw
Yeah,
me post the pics at Nickajack, but it's Nickajack. Everybody fishes there.
right. Well, and that's it's kind of a catch-22 with like Hoover. I mean, it's already known nationally.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's too late for
and it,
Hoover.
you can only keep your secret spot a secret for so long. Humans like to brag, and we want, if you're out there fishing, um, and you catch, and I fish a lot by myself, so you know that's my adrenaline rush of some like sharing it. Even though like I got that 5 or 10 minutes of adrenaline when I caught the fish, and I'm super stoked.
Oh
But
yeah,
there's nothing better than aside of that than sharing that experience with others.
it's
So
amazing. We shouldn't have to worry about it. But the fact of the matter is, until there's laws and regulations put in, we kind of need to. We need to kind of put our egos aside
right.
until they pass laws and regulations because we're literally helping destroy something we love very
Well,
much.
we are, but also there's, my thought process is again the awareness of it, and if we're if we're educating, you know, the masses instead of kind of hiding, trying to keep it, that part of it a secret, because at some point we have to be proactive, and I'm I although I do agree about the promoting of a lot of where we're catching things or whatever, but it's really tough for me to think of it that way because it's already here. I got if I would have known this 3, 4, 5 years ago, if I would have been involved, I would 100% not be posting shit. But when I got in the game, it was already too late. I'm just, am I part of the problem? Sure, but I also want to be part of the solution.
Yeah,
Um, and I can't go backwards. But with my background of the whole fish, my pay lakes and commercial fishing and all that kind of stuff,
yep.
and now how passionate I am about conservation, I feel a little bit guilty about it, like because I was a part of that problem, unbeknownst to me, and again, unbeknownst to a lot of Bay Lake owners and people that participate, in the early years. You're just that individual going out and having fun and catching a big fish, and then I can throw $20 in and I can go catch a bunch of fish, and I might win some money, and it just snowballed into this craziness. It is, it's ridiculous.
It did.
The
Uh,
only way we stop it is we got to get some limitations. We got to
th-
get some legal limitations.
there
We
definitely
gotta
be some
we gotta
major.
challenge these pay lake owners. Where did you get your fish? Because they're supposed to have documentation. There's a series of documentation that has to go through, just like in customs. It's no different. A chain of custody that the person that caught the fish has to be documented. Weight, where that fish was put.
They
That's
definitely also stop allowing a certain size fish to come out of the waters. They need to be left.
absolutely.
I mean, they're just,
Absolutely.
they just should not be allowed. And if they have them, they got them from, there's only one place they can get them from. So they'd
Right.
be immediately breaking the law anyway.
Well,
But if that
even if
one,
there was a way that we could limit the time frame of when they're commercially fishing during the spawn, where they're easy targets, or during that spawn season. Um,
summer months and spawning, we should not be allowed to fish. If I'm being
not
honest, the hot
not commercially, not commercially for sure.
yes, the hot
Not
months
commercial.
are very, very hard on fish when they're pulled out of the water. Not to mention that's their spawn time, so we're messing with that too. And right now, their spawn time is ridiculously important
Right.
because we don't have enough fish to sustain or to keep up with
Right.
payload. So if we
Right.
keep messing with them during spawn, it's just going to make it worse.
Well,
Oh,
with the Hoover cats, Joe Hatfield, he's decided, and I agree that we'll probably still have bank fishing events, but we're probably not gonna have boat and kayak tournaments during that time because it's much easier for us to target specific spawning locations.
yeah,
Even though I don't know the numbers, but a normal boat kayak tournament at Hoover, we're getting 15 to 20 boats, participants or whatever. We're
mhm.
not a huge impact, and most of us know how to take care of fish, but things happen, um, fish get dropped and things like that, but we can target them, and it does mess up their cycle. I mean, even though, you know, even though Hoover's not going to ever, well, I shouldn't say never. To this point, they're not going to sustain. That's why we're on a stocking program at Hoover. They can't sustain the amount of fish there, but they are spawning and they are hatching but it's a very small percentage.
It is. But
Um,
you also have to remember that Hoover's ecosystem is one of the best in the countries, and those fish are actually growing at a larger rate.
oh,
That
absolutely.
I mean, we have a phenomenal ecosystem for them in Hoover, which
Right,
is it's going to be ruined because they're taking the catfish out, and the crappie or the carp are still in there, and there's not going to be anything in there to uh keep the crop or Jiminy Christmas carp under control, other than
right. Well, you gotta have a balance.
you do. But we're
You
messing
know,
with balance. We had it perfect. We were getting beautiful fish out of there. They were
right,
growing. They were spawning. They were returning every year. They
right,
they was finally starting to move on its own, and then boom, that happened. And
right,
I was to blame too because I mean, well, I take that. My very first flat, my big one of my big ones, I was on live camera. I didn't think anything of it when that happened. I did very shortly after it hit me what was getting ready to happen. And it did happen. I was
right.
told by people, oh, I went and fished there just because I knew where you were at and this and that. And I'm like, crap. Well, the second one, I was pretty ticked off when I caught it on live, if I'm being honest. I was like, son of because by that point, I had realized what I had done, and it was already too late, and I knew it. But the second one made it even worse. So I've tried to do everything in my power to stop doing that. Um, but the damage is done.
Right.
Us
Well,
locals
and
are,
that's kind of where I'm going with it too. Is the damage now? Now we've got to deal with what we have now,
yeah,
and you know if we can get again, it's growing the responsible community. Um, Eventually, there's going to be, and there already is. There's more of us than there is of those assholes that are taking our fish,
there
just
are. And
waiting
we
for us.
stand up to them.
So we just, we got to be a team on this.
Yeah.
And anybody that sees some weird shit, you feel free to call me, text me, message me, whatever. I live 30 minutes from Hoover. I can hook up to my boat and be at Hoover in 45 minutes. Just
And I
saying.
pick up and be at Hoover in 12 minutes.
Well, um,
All they
you
got to do
know,
is call me.
yeah, yeah,
Was told the other day, I was told the other day, I was sent a message, one of the guys that's taking fish out is there. So people are letting me know now. Now I just got to catch them and stop them.
right,
So,
right. Yeah, I mean, even if you see, people see, maybe it's not on the Hoover page, maybe it's just a personal page that somebody, is taking pictures. You're allowed 135-inch fish per day. If they've got three of them and they put it on their personal Facebook or whatever, that's illegal.
yep.
It's illegal. And, you get 10, 15, 20 guys that are doing that on a weekly basis. Those fish are gone. They're never coming back. Um, and it's great that we do have a great fishery that is producing big fish and getting them to grow so much quicker than maybe some of the other ones. But you it still takes time. I mean, they started, I don't know exactly, but I think they started stocking Hoover in 2011 ish.
My husband knows this, and I'm sure he will answer in chat when he.
Um,
But
when you
I,
let's just say 2010, somewhere in that area, 15 years or whatever.
yeah,
When I started fishing last year, mid season, I you saw a lot of, not a lot, but you saw a fair amount of 30s, right? This year, it's those 30s are now 40s. You see, those 20s are now 30s.
they're not
Or
there.
but you're not seeing, they should be, I'm saying. And like the decline just over 1 year of just me fishing for 1 year,
Yep.
I can see it.
Yep.
I know that this time last year, I didn't catch a lot of 10 to 15 pound fish. And but I also didn't catch 20 fish a trip either. You know what I mean? And that kind of tells me that, number one, the bigger fish are depleted, giving the
Yep.
smaller fish opportunities to
Oh yeah.
feed like the big fish, if that
Oh,
makes sense.
oh yeah.
Um, and I mean, I was out the other day and caught 15 fish. One of them was in the mid 20s, and everything else was 10 pounds.
Oh yeah. And
And
also, channels are being caught more this year.
a
But that
lot more channels. Yep.
there's always been a channel population, but it's been
Right.
lower since the bigger fish were in there. But
Right.
they have been taken out. People are catching the channels again and making the channels more active and more prominent. So
I'd be interested in talking to like a crappie guy, because I remember last year, a lot of crappie guys were like, "Where's all the crappie? I don't feel like they were blaming the blue cats, whatever." Um, this year, I'll tell you what, and I don't use crappie for bait. It's not never like I'm a shad guy, whatever. But I when I go to catch shad, I can't not catch crappie in my cast net. So that tells me again, those crappie are breeding and getting, like they're growing in population. Why? Because there's not big fish in there again,
yep.
Um, it's just, there's got to be a balance. Not saying I didn't catch crappie last year, but there's a lot of crappie in there. There's a lot of big crappie in there. a
Yeah.
lot of big crappie in there. So, it just, there's a pattern that if you really think about, if you really look at the whole, every species that's in any body of water, you see a pattern of where the fish are going. Um, when I was working for the fish farm, well, I had the ability to stock brand new ponds, just farm ponds, personal people's ponds. And, they would make the mistake of, hey, I want, my pond to be a bass pond. Give me 100. It's a brand new pond. They want 100 little fingerling largemouth bass. 2 years later, they're calling saying, hey, can you come fish these bass out because or get these bass out because they're all like 3 pounds head with a 3/4 pound bodies because there's no other. I mean, they all survived,
Yep.
and now they're all stunted because there was no predator fish in there to harvest. To keep the population in a balance. You
Yeah.
got to have them. You got to have apex predators because all fish eat fish. Crappie eat bluegill eat, all the way down through. They all eat each other. Um, Blue cat are a little more aggressive because they eat a little bit bigger fish.
Yep.
But, I think there's a really good balance of, bluegill, crappie, bass. I catch a lot of bass just bluegill fishing, Um, I've caught a lot of saugeye this year dragging for bluegat, you know. I know people go out there and say they can't catch a saw guy, but I'm not a saw guy, and I've caught probably 30 of them this year. I don't know, like whatever. So anyway, that was really my. That's kind of my stent, my story.
We'll work on it. We'll work on that. But we need to talk about your tournaments that you
Yes.
are
So
going to.
we
And
have one coming up on October 26th.
hold on, which
This
one?
one we're gonna do a little different. Um, Along with our normal boat weight division and our normal uh, length division, we are going to bring in a length division just for the bank fishermen. So basically the same thing as what we did last, only we're going to now bring everybody together in one event. Um,
Okay.
One of the things that I'm pretty excited about for this one that I haven't even posted yet, so anybody watching or listening, you're the first to know. Um, for the bank fishermen, the three top bank anglers are going to have the opportunity to go out with the three directors on our boats, if you want, and I'm not, whatever, but this is just going to be part of the winnings or however you want to put it. We're going to take the top three bank anglers out for just a random boat fishing trip at Hoover, just to kind of show you what we do on the boat side of it. Along with that, I also want to bring, we had a little something special for female anglers last month. This month, we're going to do the top female angler. UV and your husband Chris are going to take out the top female angler on their
Yeah.
boat. So I thought that's going to be a pretty cool thing. Um, we all get, and you guys are really good at taking, a lot of people out on your boat and letting
We
them
love to do
experience
that.
it. Um, with me having a smaller boat, do I take people out? Yeah, but I get a little skittish taking somebody new because my boat's so small. Now that I've got a bigger boat, I feel more comfortable having somebody newer than, um, safety reasons, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I get
but
it.
we all get, hey, we got an empty kind of thing. So I thought it'd be kind of a cool little bonus to 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 let some bank guys come fish with us. Not saying we're better fishermen because that's not the case in most cases. It's just we
Oh,
have a
I'm
little bit
excited
different
to take the
accents.
winner out.
I'm sorry.
I'm excited to take the female winner out. That'll be a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yep.
And again, it's just another experience. I mean, I went deep sea fishing once. It was a great
Oh, that
experience.
was
And
fun.
then I didn't take Dramamine and threw up the whole time. But it was a good experience, and it was something that I never really had an opportunity to do. So, I think it would be cool.
Oh, that would be
Just
awesome.
yeah. So
Yep.
that part of it I'll be posting probably this week. Um,
Okay. And we'll have it posted on the Catfish Tournament Live page for anybody that wants the information.
yeah,
Anything any tournament that I know about, I try, or has asked me, I do promote them on the page and I let you guys know. And we try to be there to do live.
yeah.
So,
Which I appreciate that. That was awesome.
oh no, well, now we can actually go live on the actual channels. So
Right, right,
we don't
right,
just have to do videos. So yeah, I'm excited.
right.
We
Yeah,
finally got to where we needed to be allowed to go live. So,
right. And it's only gonna grow as well. I mean, it's just inevitable that we've got a lot of good people trying to do the right thing, and the hope of getting more. We want to get
yeah,
everybody involved.
yes.
And I even posted like after I did the bank tournament last. Anybody that's got ideas, criticism, suggestions, believe me, I'm open. I'm new to this part of the organization thing, and even though I'm not a bank guy, I started bank fishing, so I kind of knew what the needs were. And but I'd love to hear some feedback, good, bad. Usually, the bad stuff is the best stuff because if you don't know, you don't know. You don't learn unless you do some bad stuff. So, please message me. More than welcome to follow me on my Facebook page, or message me with any questions or whatever. The boots on the
Absolutely.
water thing, I'm stoked about, though. I can tell you that.
Yes, I'm going to talk about that now because we didn't get Ashley up, but that event is this weekend, and this is a big, big event. And my husband and I are really, really big into doing these events. Absolutely love them. We do the Sandusky Bay one that Disabled Veterans Outdoors does, and this one that Ashley and Last Call Catfishing puts on. And this is October 11th. You are a volunteer captain to take veterans out. We also do it. And my understanding as of this morning, they had room for 6 more veterans. So that's really, I mean, a big deal. If you're in Ohio and you're a veteran and you would like to go fishing and you would like to participate in this event, by please, please, please contact Ashley. Her name is like very impossible to pronounce. Her last name. We're just gonna go with Boots on the Water. And if my husband would so kindly
Or
post that
message
link,
one of us and we can get you to the right person. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, even if it's me, Alva, my husband, contact any of us. Um, and it's an amazing event. On Friday, we're going up, and I know you're going up on Friday too. And
yeah,
we're gonna pre-fish, but that evening is the captain's meeting, and I'm so excited to do this because Ashley and I talked about it. And we are going to interview all those veterans and their captains prior to going out just to hear their excitement, what their expectations are, just see the befores. And then when they come back on Saturday, do another interview with them and see what the difference from them, their excitement to they actually got to go out and seeing what it does for them absolutely is one of the reasons my husband and I love to do them. We've been taking our vet out for a couple years now on the Sandusky Bay. He has become a lifelong friend. Charlie has been we just love him
right.
and love doing the events. And he's actually coming to Boots on the Water because, you know, we all signed up at the same time. But it's very rewarding. I love that we get to do it live this year. I love that because this will be the first time one of those events has been shown. So I'm very, very stoked about that. They have an amazing dinner. They paid for the hotels for these gentlemen that are coming from out of town, so they have a hotels for the weekend. They have a small dinner that was donated by the lodge that is holding the meeting, the captain's meeting, and then there's a big hog roast type one and a huge raffle on Saturday that they do. But speaking of raffles, one of the things being raffled off as a fundraiser for them is this. Oh,
Yeah.
this is incredible. A friend of mine, Josh Roth, who has he owns River's Edge Reproductions, and he does this for a living. He did Bill Dance's fish. He did George from the Memphis tournaments, but he does replicas of your trophy fish. And he donated this to Boots on the Water to help raise money. And it is $10 a ticket or 6 for 55. So you get a discount the more you buy. And even if you can't go, if you live in Ohio and you want, and I know you and I'll see you at some point or another, and you're not going to be at the event, it's so important for me for them to raise money that if you win that, you don't have to be present. If you're in Ohio, I will meet you and deliver it to you to help raise funds for this. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's that important to me. So don't
Yeah.
use that as an excuse because I will meet you.
Yeah. We actually, I had Rocky Hurst message me yesterday. He's a local Hoover guy, and said, while you're down there, can you see if anybody, a list of people that are veterans in the Columbus area? He wants to volunteer to take people out, veterans out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I don't, next year I'm going to be doing a lot of new things.
You're cutting out a little bit, Alva.
I hear the static.
Yeah, it's on your end. It only happens when it just only did it for a second, but it was cleared up.
Is it good now?
Yep.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I'm wanting to do something next year. Not a tournament, just an actual event,
Yeah,
specifically for veterans. We're going to be asking a lot of new stuff over for next year over the off season, but there's definitely going to be a Veterans Day for, and I think I want to do it similar to what the Boots on the Water is, where it's a captain volunteering, only obviously on a smaller scale, but for local people, or whomever, I say local, but if you can get to Hoover, as long as you're a veteran.
that's
So we
awesome.
want to do it. We want to do something for the veterans here locally as well. I know that there's a lot. I know of at least 10 or 12 local guys that are going to Boots on the Water. So we've got a pretty good community that supports veterans.
Yes.
And it just makes sense to do something here locally too.
And if anybody what needs to know anything, Ashley is absolutely phenomenal at posting updates, what's needed, directions, where you're meeting at, the times. I mean, she is just an absolute beast at it. I'm just going to be honest. She does not skip a beat. There, if you have questions, you can pretty much look on the Boots on the Water page or contact Ashley, and you can find out anything you need to know because she is just masterful at that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. She has got this down to a science. So,
Yeah. So one quick story. So originally I wasn't going to do Boots on the Water again because of my small.
hold on, you turned staticky again. Try again. Nope.
I feel like it's on your
Oh,
end.
there you go. Now you're good.
Um. Anyway, I wasn't going to do Boots on the Water because of my small boat. Yeah, I saw that there was a window that I thought I could get it done, but I went ahead and volunteered. And the post that I had seen was, they were looking for more captains. And I was like, if I can do it, I want to be able to do it. So um, when I saw like 2 days ago, they had some cancellations and looking for veterans. Well, my dad is a Vietnam vet, right?
Oh,
I
awesome.
didn't ask him because I thought there was a limit on veterans, the amount of veterans they were allowing. So I didn't ask him. Well, when she posted, I immediately saw it. When I saw it, I contacted her. Hey, my dad's a vet. He was going to come up. He was just going to come up and mingle with the veterans because he's really big into veteran stuff. He lives in Cincinnati area, but he does a lot of stuff for veterans. Being a vet, so. But long story shorter, uh, I get to fish with my dad, so it's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. That's so
Uh,
awesome. I'm sorry, my dog is like, I want up there too. So
yeah,
I was trying to make room for her because one of my dogs is up here and they get jealous.
right,
So
right.
I was trying to make room for them. But
Yeah, so I again, I just so now I mean I'm just that much more excited. To My dad's been on my boat one time, and it's weird because I do catch a lot of fish, but the day that he went with me about 2 months ago, we didn't catch a fish, if I remember right.
oh no,
Not a fish. Yeah.
you blow
He's
in.
like, I think he even said, like, are those fish like AI?
That's funny.
So yeah, I hope every veteran catches a fish. I mean, I really hope that we have
I
a
do
good day.
too. I
I'm
do too.
hoping the rain might get us a little bit of flow, maybe.
Oh, we had some good rain
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Makes me
So
excited for Hoover too.
right, right. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully
'cause
it
Hoover's
gets,
been 11. It was
it
down
makes its way
11.
to the river, and it's perfect timing for them to open the gates, get a little flow going.
Oh yeah. They actually, yeah, they started flowing water or putting water in today, and we had rain from literally till the time I woke up till
Oh,
I think
they
it's still
opened.
raining.
Yeah. Did they
I
open Alma?
oh yeah,
They
yep,
did.
yep.
I know
They
I talked to the ranger Josh a couple weeks ago, and he said typically 13 feet is when they open it, if it's down 13 feet.
yep they did today for some reason, and then and they did it on a day we got like an astronomically large amount of water or
Right.
rain. So
Well, maybe Alum gets more inflow than Hoover. I don't,
yeah, I don't know.
obviously
I'm pretty excited
Hoover's,
about it.
Columbus water, drinking water. So
Well, tell them where they
Someone
need.
would protect it at your front door.
Okay. I
uh,
don't know why anybody would be at my. Alva, tell them how they can get a hold of these tournaments and where they can get the information from for your Hoover tournament.
so you can look me up on Facebook, Alva Jones. Feel free to send me a friend request. You can direct message me, brother message me. I'm posting, and I'll be posting on a weekly basis. They will always have the link to the actual, if you're doing the online linked tournaments, there'll be a link to that. Be sure that if you're going to be bank fit, there's two different tournaments. There's a bank only tournament, which is in orange and black, and then there's a kayak and boat link tournament, which is in red and black. So be sure whichever division you're going to get in, you click on the right one. And that's going to be on the Fishing Chaos app. You have to download that. For here, for the bank tournament guide only, the membership fee. So there's no membership fee to get on the app, because of it being a new introductory thing that we're doing with the bank tournaments. So the entry fee is $25 for bank guys. There's a $3 app fee, so it's $28 to get into the bank only tournament. And then the link series for boat and kayak is 55 with the $3 um, fee. It's either 50 or 55. Shoot, now I forgot. The actual, if you're going to get into the weight division, that we take registration at Red Bank the morning of the tournament. The tournament's on the 26th. It's a Sunday, from 8 to 4. And then afterwards, we'll all be meeting at the Red Bank ramp to do all the giveaways and things like that.
This is the kayak and boat.
Right,
All the dates and whatnot, and we will have that posted on the Catfish Tournament page as well.
right. Thank you.
And yep, and also there's the bank one. Just to reiterate what Alva said, and if anybody has any questions, just contact Alva, and he will be happy to help you get signed up. They were super fun. It was a super fun tournament. The last one I covered for him, and everyone had just an amazing time. And there was a very large amount of people, and
Yeah.
it turned out incredible. And you would enjoy it. And he's also about helping to clean it up, so you get to clean trash while you're fishing too.
Right, right. Yeah, we gave away UV flashlights on the last one to anybody that picked up garbage. Obviously, you pick up your own. We were trying to incentivize people to do a little extra and become fishing areas. Um, we did a
Oh,
really good job.
oh, oh! We lost your sound altogether.
No sound.
Oh, now you do.
Mhm.
No, we lost you at the last part of that. I'm not sure what it said. What you said.
Oh, I was just saying we did a really good job at the cleanup.
Yeah, it was
Hoover,
awesome seeing.
Hoover, the residents of Hoover do an annual cleanup. That was the week after, and Columbus Watershed kind of organizes that. I talked to them because I wanted them to be aware that we as bank guys were going to be participating just the week before, and it was a good thing. I mean, we should be doing that every time, but um, and ironically, I made the tournament that day because it was Worldwide Cleanup Day. So September 20th was Worldwide Cleanup Day, and we all participated.
I like seeing everybody bringing their pictures. I found great comfort in that. People bringing pictures of the trash they cleaned up. So that
Yep,
was a cool thing
yep.
you did. Good for you. I like it. I like it.
Um,
And with
More
that
to
said,
come.
we're going
More
to
to come.
close because it's 9:15, and I have already kept everybody over. But it was an awesome conversation, so I might
Yeah,
have ran a little over. I had a
I
really good
know.
time talking with you, and we will definitely do it again.
I
And
appreciate it.
absolutely, and we'll get together and get those tournaments broadcasted for you. And I want to thank everybody for coming in. And I didn't say hi to anyone because I'm just going to be honest. I am lousy at this part where you have to read text and talk to the person. And yeah, I can't do it. So hi, whoever came in.
I know
I,
I was pretty nervous, even though once I get going, I can talk to anybody, but I was a little nervous. And,
oh yeah.
um, I'm like, should I write stuff down? And I'm thinking, you know what? I probably couldn't read it. I just need to, just talk. Just talk.
Yeah.
It'll come
No,
out.
I
You'll
am
get my point.
genuinely, I'm just not meant for YouTube. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, probably end up passing the interview YouTube part on camera over to somebody else because I'm just horrible at it. And I can do the golden whiskers, but that's because it's a totally different thing.
Well, the
It-
thing about this kind of format,
Those who are
it's
accepted at front
authentic.
door.
There's not scripted. Um, if I slipped and said a curse word, I meant it from the heart. You know what I mean?
I'm the worst about that. I'm an editor's nightmare. I'm like, I'm a fisherman. I don't belong on here.
Yeah. Well,
So,
like I say, most of our audience has at least heard some of the words that we said once in their
oh,
life.
they've all said them. They've all said
Right.
them. I know these fishermen. I know.
Right.
I didn't get my potty mouth just from, hanging out with, yeah, all of you know.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you this weekend. And again, anybody that
Absolutely.
has any questions about anything that we discussed tonight, feel free. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. And definitely help support the tournaments. Um, it's just going to be a big thing
Hmm.
for the community, and it's going to keep growing. And it feels good to be a part of stuff. I know it makes I got goosebumps right now just talking about what I envision, what the future's going to bring.
You've got this. Now we're just going to work on boots on the water,
Boots in the
conservation,
water.
and tournaments. This one, we got this. And
Gotcha.
all of these are Ohio related, so they're all very personal to me at this point.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Go Ohio! Thank you, Alva, and thank you everyone for coming in. And I will talk to you all soon on the next one.
Awesome. We'll talk to you. Thanks, V.